Honda TrailSport, Toyota Woodland Edition, Subaru Wilderness, Hyundai XRT. Have you figured out the theme here yet? Yes, it just does seem like automakers are really getting a kick out of adding outdoorsy, adventurous, go-get-'em trims to some crossovers that are, well, they're otherwise pretty mild-mannered. And the newest of which is this, the new 2026 Honda CR-V Hybrid TrailSport. And yeah, as you can probably tell, your choice in this segment is getting to the levels of almost overwhelming. And I have some information on the new CR-V that might make or break your decision. So let's get into it. Let's talk about it. I hope you like hybrids because the new TrailSport trim is only available on the CR-V Hybrid. And in my opinion, that's totally fine by me because, well, there's more power and you can rarely have too much power when you're going off-road. Now, in this case, we've got the familiar and carryover 2-liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder that's hybridized for a combined 204 horsepower and 247 pounds-feet of torque. And that is a sizable bump up over the standard CR-V's 1.5-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder that makes 190 horsepower and 179 pounds-feet of torque. The all-wheel drive system in the TrailSport is identical to every other all-wheel drive system and drive mode setup that you'll get in any other all-wheel drive 2026 CR-V. The silver lining here is that no matter which CR-V you do get, Honda updated the all-wheel drive system over the previous model year across the board with new tuning, new traction logic, that kind of stuff. Honda's revised low-speed traction logic was on full display as a 2026 TrailSport made short work of a set of wheel rollers, an obstacle that had the all-wheel drive 2025 CR-V completely stuck. Okay, so there's no special setting or tuning to the all-wheel drive system. There's no terrain modes or extra off-road drive modes in the system here. So I guess the CR-V TrailSport will make up for this with, lifted suspension and, underbody cladding and nope, wheels and tires. That's it. That's the TrailSport. A set of unique to the trim wheels and all-terrain tires. There's also badging, of course, and blackened exterior trim and rubberized floor mats and stitching on the headrests, but from a mechanical perspective, that's it. It's basically a wheel, tire, and appearance package. All right, here's a little secret. You can often judge the off-road capability of a newly launched vehicle based on just how far the automaker is willing to push them. And in the case of this CR-V, let's just say Honda was realistic. We ran 2 short off-road loops with the first demonstrating the standard hill descent control function. Not too shabby, but nothing a regular all-wheel drive 2026 CR-V couldn't handle. Ditto for the second loop, which saw us briefly stick a wheel in the air under articulation. A good time, but nothing shocking. It demonstrated that at the very least, no unpaved hiking trailhead is going to be off limits. How does the TrailSport drive on the road? It drives like a CR-V. What a shock. Which means it drives like a 2025 and a 2024 CR-V as well. That's a great thing. I mean, this is a lovely driving, daily, commuter, regular, standard workaday crossover. And specifically honing in on the minor changes that were done to the TrailSport, which remember, were just the wheels and the tires. And in this case, we got a set of a little bit more rough and tumble all-terrains. Now, the all-terrains are not as aggressive in any regard as those that you might find on the Ridgeline and new Passport TrailSport. But when you add all-terrains of any type to any vehicle, that does have consequences regarding ride and general noise and handling characteristics. I am happy to report, though, that because these are a little bit milder than what you would find on those other TrailSports, that the general ride and handling is mostly unaffected. There's not too much road noise. There's not really any sidewall squish, even when we're out in these relatively curvy California canyon roads. So really, as far as I can tell, there is no real day-to-day downside of buying the TrailSport and keeping the all-terrain tires on here. As a matter of fact, you pretty much only have the benefit of having the all-terrain's off-road capability. 204 horsepower is enough, it's adequate. You're never gonna be left feeling as though you're in danger when merging. What I am noticing, however, on roads that are not really too much of an incline, it seems like that naturally aspirated 2-liter is really working itself quite hard, or overworking itself, or keeping the revs sustained high for not much effort in removing it. It doesn't feel underpowered, it just feels a little bit stressed. I will say I am kind of bummed that Honda decided to not go as hard with the new CR-V TrailSport as it did with the existing Passport and Pilot TrailSport, but after thinking over a few things and talking to Honda, two things come to mind. First, beefier suspension, larger tires, underbody protection. These things add weight, they add complexity, and they add cost, all things that also open the door to, well, compromises. Compromises in ride quality, compromises in handling and efficiency, all things that internal customer research at Honda says might impact customer gain or loss, seeing as they might stand to lose more customers than they have to gain if they add a bunch of that stuff on the car. Second thing is when you consider that the CR-V TrailSport cannot be had for anything less than around $40,000, those that are serious about taking their Honda off-road will likely be looking potentially at getting a Passport RTL, not the CR-V TrailSport. The Passport is a little bit more expensive, but considering just how capable the Passport is, even without the TrailSport package, things start to add up. I definitely have some more thoughts on the new 2026 Honda CR-V TrailSport, but for my full thoughts and review, you gotta go to Cars.com/news.